episode.
I don't know why I'm so excited to disagree with you.
I love that.
But I'm going to disagree with you because I think the rows and rows of benches facing the teacher has changed. Today you've got classrooms which are built very differently. I think we're now looking at the architecture of classrooms as being a component of the learning. So it's a learning space, and therefore you will find modular furniture in so that they can work in groups. So sometimes when you walk into our classrooms, you will see tables put together in squares, so people working in groups. Sometimes you'll come in and they'll be in a U, and the teacher will be one of them. And I think that has to do with the fact that the hierarchy in the classroom has now changed.
Okay.
Where once upon a time, there was a power dynamic. I'm on this side, my students are in front of me. I wield power. I'm the one who decides what's going to happen. Over the past 2 decades, I have to say, that has changed. And I think that has changed because learning has now changed. Why someone wants to learn, how that person wants to learn, and whether they will come to you in class to learn or whether they will go somewhere else to learn. Correct. We're living in a world of micro-credentials, online courses. And honestly speaking, I don't think employers really care where you learned as long as you know it and you can do whatever they need you to do. So end result is classrooms have become very interactive, engaging spaces where now educators are seen as facilitators. Now, is this happening everywhere? No.
Yeah.
It's not happening everywhere. And I think it'll take some time for 100% of classrooms to change. That'll probably not happen easily because, I mean, let's be honest. We know it's an unequal.
The gap, right?
The gap.
Yeah.
The gap between schools and classes and economies and budgets for education. But there is a growing number of universities and colleges across the world. And I'm happy that whether it's my home country, India, through its national education policy, or whether it's UAE, which is now my home, the focus is on student learning. And therefore, this change has happened. So we are facilitators. We're facilitators. We are catalysts so that students will learn. And that change has happened. I think one thing that probably hasn't happened as yet is the confidence with which students can come in and challenge teachers. I think that's happening slowly.
It is. Yeah.
Because we've also been brought up, right, culturally, especially in this part of the world.
Of course.
Culturally, that, you respect people and that respect means certain things. So, so at Symbiosis, we say, disagree, but disagree politely. If you are challenging them, then very politely bring forward saying, hey, I came across this article that actually contradicts what we're learning in class. Can we discuss this? And I'm happy to say more and more and more students are actually learning this. You see, and helping students learn how to find their voice.
Yeah.
Not be afraid to voice their opinions, but do it in a way that's polite. Is something that I think many of us are becoming good at in terms of universities. I'm happy that the UAE supports so much in terms of student centricity, right?
Yeah.
And we're spending so much time on training teachers. Back at home in India, Symbiosis has been known. I mean, we were the first to set up a liberal arts program. The liberal arts program is fundamentally based on this. That thinking students, thinking citizens. So the classroom has also changed.
I mean, that's the thing. I want to be hopeful about this, right?
Be hopeful.
I'm trying. It's just because for me, I teach, right? And throughout the years of me teaching, I started when I was in my PhD. I used to think that the education system doesn't really suit the majority of students, first of all, which we have known always. But I just feel like it's not changing quick enough. And now with AI, so one issue we have, and I'm sure you do as well with your students, is they use ChatGPT a lot.
Yeah.
I had an assessment and someone submitted their work with the prompt and everything from ChatGPT copy pasted. And I think that students should be taught how to use AI to empower themselves with it without it becoming without it crippling them. And now they're entirely dependent on it and not learning anything. Yeah. And again, when you ask students, why did you use ChatGPT? It's because they're lazy. Yeah. They don't want to spend time on it. So then the curiosity or that fire to learn is not there. And that's where I think us educators, that's our role, right? To make students interested in whatever we're teaching. Because a lot of times, as you said earlier on, it's just information being thrown at them and hoping that they catch it. So now why don't we just make it in a conversation, making them more interested and putting it in context to the new world that is coming up? Because, okay, I'll throw this question back to you because there's the statistics that came about that said by 2030, 80% of the jobs that will be on the job market do not exist yet today. And that's not very far, right? That's 5 years from now. So what are we training students for? What are they learning for? Because the jobs that will be there are not here today. And it's true throughout history, it always happens this way, right? Even for me, even 10 years ago when I was in school, the job that I do now did not exist, but now this is my job. That's normal, but it's now accelerated. And now the gap between skills and jobs, very big. So how do we train students in order to make them adaptable to the future?
Everything in life comes full circle. If you go back in history, there was a time when higher education did not focus on specific jobs.
Okay.
It wasn't seen as training ground for industry. Graduates were not seen as input for industry. Education was about building character and building citizenry and about holistic understanding of the world. And then at some point of time, industry grew, their requirements for graduates who do a specific job in a particular way grew. And I think we succumbed to that. I mean, now it's over, the genie is out of the bottle, no point in talking about it. But the reality is, at some point of time, we succumbed to the pressure of helping students get jobs. And I'm not saying that wasn't necessary, because employability is important, but that is what slowly happened. And then we started catering and designing our programs to suit industry. Now, suddenly, what you said is true. What am I training people for? Correct. Because you see, and if you remember what I just said, what are we training people for? Universities became training centers as well. So we weren't educating people for the future. We were training people for jobs. Now with uncertainty about what the heck are they going to be doing, and I don't know, so how am I designing? I am actually happy. Because I think universities have had to go back and relook, what are they actually supposed to be doing? And I love the fact that there is uncertainty. Because when there's uncertainty, you put on your thinking caps, you don't blindly follow what other people are saying, and you say, what can I do to help people navigate an uncertain future? So what are we focusing on? So we don't know what jobs are going to exist, but we do know whatever jobs exist, I'm going to have to learn to be a great learner. I'm going to have to be good at that, learn, unlearn, relearn. I'm going to have to be good at dealing with people. I'm going to have to learn to deal with cross-cultural elements, cross-functional elements. I'm going to have to work across geographical zones. I'm going to have to learn how to solve problems in a sustainable fashion. So now the focus is, yes, there will be a curriculum and it will focus on the jobs that we think are going to be there in the next 5-10 years. Universities will, along with think tanks and consulting groups and industry, try and visualize what is going to happen. And if you look at the research that is being done, you have a certain amount of idea of which way the world is going.
Yeah.
So you focus all of that, and then you come down to how can I teach all of this? But underlying every single course, how do I get them to learn how to look at data, how to interpret data, how to deal with people, how to navigate through problems, how to resolve conflict, critical thinking, problem solving, working in teams. These are things that I feel are never going to go out of fashion.
Yeah.
You're always going to need it. So therefore, that's what you focus on. And then you focus on the old 200 years old or 100 years old requirement of universities, holistic.
Yeah.
You will have to understand a little bit of economics and a little bit of geopolitics, and you'll have to understand about how business works, and you'll have to understand about how people work. So sociology and psychology and organizational behavior. And we're going back to some of that, which I feel is so important. So comprehensive education, where you then say, you will be able to navigate an uncertain world. And you'll be able to also understand, connect the dots as you're going along. So you don't wake up 10 years from now saying, holy, wow, when did this happen?
Yeah.
Because there are always signs, right? There are always signs. I mean, look at the pandemic. It happened and many, many universities managed.
Yeah.
Because by that time, little online had already started. Correct? We already knew. And
The
those
tools
were
were
things.
there.
The tools
Yeah.
were there. And then we just had to tweak them. Correct? So I think that is important. Teaching learners how to assess what's happening in the world and connect the dots. You know, what in my olden days, my teacher would say environmental scanning. You need to have your radar up. And some people will do it better than the others. You know, there's always 10%, even when I was in college, 10% of the student community was ambitious. Correct? They had huge aspirations. They pushed the teachers. The 10% who really didn't care. Correct? And then there's this middle majority that's saying, I'll go where people push me
Where
to
the
go.
herd is going. Yeah.
Correct? Because there's safety in numbers, right? So I think the same thing's going to happen. So we will focus on those important, what I think a few years ago, people said 21st century skills. Correct? I mean, the future of work, and everybody's talking about the same thing.
Yeah. The future of work started a long time ago.
The same things, critical thinking, problem solving, cross-cultural. And how to use. And to your chat GPT, we actually have trained not only our faculty, but we are also training school teachers.
Okay.
AI is here to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Students are going to go on to ChatGPT. Why wouldn't they?
I'm on there all the time.
I mean, according to me, if you're intelligent, you are looking for ways. The only thing is AI as a tool, as an assistant, versus AI as a crutch. And I think that's where the worry for many is that will I stop thinking because I go on to AI? And then what you use, you lose. Or do we teach them how to do it? And therefore, we teach them how to do it. We do workshops. The whole thing, copy without the prompts and all of that. I mean, that's a dumb mistake to make. And obviously,